Hello, everyone. For those of you who do not yet know me, I am Barbara Ginsburg, and I have the honor of addressing this congregation as your president. A year ago on Kol Nidre, I came before you and spoke about my personal Jewish journey. From a totally irreligious upbringing in Brooklyn in the mid-1950s, where everyone in my neighborhood was Jewish, through our move to Boston in 1970, and then on to Stanford University in 1972, and finally to San Diego in 1974. With each successive move, we found ourselves more and more isolated from a connection to any Jewish community. And so in 1978, when we moved back to New York, we became members of what was then Scarsdale Synagogue, Tremont Temple. And while my family and I had been active members of this community since then, I was totally not prepared to have my first year as president be such a life-altering experience. This past year was marked by so many wonderful events and joyful moments that I thought I'd share with you just a few of them that made this past year such an impactful one. Want to bring a smile to your day? Just attend any Mazel Tots event. Whether it be a dance party, a monthly Tot Shabbat, or the annual Mazel Tots Moving Up ceremony, Jody and her amazing staff create so many opportunities for a stimulating nursery school environment. This past year has also made me so much more aware of how our community celebrates the Jewish holidays. Whether it be the moving intimacy of the sunrise service on Rosh Hashanah morning, or the annual lovingly recreation of the Claire Simpkins Sukkah, or the contagious joy as we celebrate Simchat Torah, the always eagerly anticipated vodka and latkes, and who could ever forget the amazingly wonderful Elton John Purim Spiel. The women of SSTTE have contributed to some very special moments in the life of this congregation as well. 3 Zoom book discussions led by co-president Beth Quinn were open to the entire congregation, and they were a critical success. The 4th one, Night Travelers, featured Beth speaking with the author Armando Lucas Carrera in person at the synagogue. There were also 3 very enjoyable trips to the Morgan Library, the Katona Art Museum, and the Octagon House. In November, Randy Horowitz organized an unforgettable civil rights trip. From November 10th to the 13th, Rabbi Brown and 30 fellow congregants traveled back in time, visiting iconic sites and memorials that were central to the civil rights movement. We ended the trip on Sunday morning at the Ebenezer Baptist Church to hear a sermon from Reverend Raphael Warnock. This trip was so impactful that it inspired the creation of a racial justice working group, which the rabbi highlighted in his Day 1 Rosh Hashanah sermon. Through the generosity of the Belkin Family Fund to combat anti-Semitism and racism, we had the opportunity to see 2 Broadway plays, Leopoldstadt and Parade. Special thanks go to Susan Belkin, who arranged not only the ticket purchase, but provided bus transportation to the theater as well. And of course, our wonderful clergy enhanced the experience by providing thought-provoking discussions following each performance. Feel-good moments wouldn't be complete without mentioning our annual gala, where this year we honored the Gang of 4, Karen Shapro, David Goldman, Gary Katz, and Donna Vitali Ruskin, who were so responsible for the success of the Lador Vador campaign, and Bev Picker, who was awarded the coveted Stuart Perlman Menschlichkeit Award. Last year, I announced the establishment of our Small Circle initiative. We began the year with 4 circles: parenting, interfaith families, hiking circles, which was renamed the Lost Tribe, and the gardening circles, which was renamed the Earth Angels. I am delighted to report that these circles are alive and well, and that another 2, Movies, which was initiated by Susan Duncan, and Knitting and Crocheting with Friends, co-led by Barbara Stock and Paula Kudlowitz, have now been formed. It's never too late to start others, so if you have an idea for one, please contact our executive director, Vaughn Mendel, after the holidays, please, for help in getting one going. This past year has been highlighted by Shehekianu moments for every member of our senior staff. And as president, I have been so fortunate to be able to bear witness to the power of this community, as so many of you showed up to celebrate these Simchas together. We rejoiced in the hiring of our own homegrown Allie Glassman as our full-time religious school director, and we have already seen how her enthusiasm and commitment have impacted our children and the religious school's programming. We gathered to celebrate the amazing milestone of Jody Glassman's 30-year anniversary as Mazel Tov's director. We came together to celebrate with Rabbi Brown and his family as we welcomed his son Avi into our community as a bar mitzvah. We celebrated with Cantor Becker and her family as she was awarded an honorary doctorate of musicology from the HUC on her 25th year with the cantorate, and joyously acknowledged her 18-year anniversary as our cantor. And just a few weeks ago, we celebrated with our executive director, Fawn Mandel, and her family as we welcomed the birth of Everly Smith Mandel as one of the newest members of our congregational family. So when I look back, I can honestly say that this past year was filled with both meaningful activities across a spectrum of member interests and many, many, many Shehekiano moments. So what's next? The September issue of the Shalom gave you the calendar of our family events and a preview of some of the new programming activities that we are initiating for the upcoming year, culminating in the ultimate Shehekiano moment, the celebration of our beloved Rabbi Emeritus of 31 years, Steve Klein, on his 50th anniversary as a rabbi. Understandably, all these programs need the entire community's support, emotionally, physically, and financially. It is my sincere hope that each of you will invest in our synagogue in all these ways to the extent that you are able. Before I close, I would like to return to my Jewish journey. I began this talk pointing out how my first year as president has been such a life-altering experience. What I didn't say was that the most impactful and surprisingly rewarding aspect of this past year has been my participation in Friday night services, which has made my Jewish journey complete. I would ask each of you, regardless of where you are on your Jewish journey, to make room in your life for Shabbat services. Try it. You'll like it. L'shana Tova.